Sri Lanka rests like a jeweled teardrop in the Indian Ocean, an island barely larger than West Virginia, yet containing 8 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Beyond Colombo's bustling streets lies a Sri Lanka where ancient kingdoms carved fortresses into jungle-clad mountains, where tea plantations carpet the highlands in geometric green, where golden beaches meet turquoise waters, and where temples house sacred relics drawing pilgrims from across the Buddhist world. This is not the Sri Lanka of resort brochures. This is the island where ancient hydraulic civilizations built irrigation systems still functioning after 15 centuries, where leopards prowl the forests at Earth's highest density, where pilgrims climb sacred mountains to witness sunrise from peaks marked by Buddha's footprint, and where colonial fortresses now host galleries and walls that once controlled the spice trade. So smash that subscribe button on Passport Unfolded right now, hit the notification bell, and prepare to see Sri Lanka as the ancient civilization and natural paradise it truly is. SIGIRIYA rises from the central plains like ancient mythology made stone, a massive column of reddish rock soaring 200 meters above the surrounding jungle, its sheer walls streaked with mineral deposits in ochre and rust. This UNESCO World Heritage marvel is King Kashyapa's 5th century fortress palace, built atop the monolith after he murdered his father and seized power. The climb to the summit passes through manicured water gardens with symmetrical pools, then up 1,200 steps carved into near vertical faces. Halfway up, the famous frescoes cling to rock pockets, celestial maidens painted in mineral pigments surviving 15 centuries. The mirror wall, once polished so highly that the king could see his reflection, now bears ancient graffiti from visitors dating back centuries. At the summit, the Lion Gate's massive paws frame the final ascent where palace ruins reveal Kashyapa's paranoid grandeur before his brother's army defeated him after just 18 years. Adams Peak rises 2,243 meters from the southwestern highlands, its conical silhouette dominating the landscape, sacred to 4 religions simultaneously. Buddhists revere the summit's rock depression as Buddha's footprint. Hindus claim it as Shiva's mark. Muslims believe Adam first touched Earth here after expulsion from Eden, and Christians attribute it to St. Thomas. The pilgrimage season from December to May sees thousands climbing 5,500 steps through the night. The trail illuminated by electric lights strung between tea shops selling chai and encouragement. Pilgrims time their ascent to reach the summit for sunrise when the peak casts a perfect triangular shadow across the misty valleys below, a phenomenon that seems supernatural in its geometric precision. The final hours test endurance as legs burn and lungs gasp in the thin mountain air. But reaching the summit as dawn breaks brings euphoria, mixing physical exhaustion with spiritual elevation. ELIYA perches in the southern highlands where mountains drop dramatically toward the coastal plains. This small town having become the hill country's backpacker capital through a combination of stunning scenery, perfect climate, and laid-back atmosphere. The main street stretches barely half a kilometer, lined with guest houses, cafes serving avocado toast and banana pancakes, and tour operators arranging hikes and train rides. The surrounding landscapes offer some of Sri Lanka's most photographed views. Tea plantations cascading down hillsides in perfect geometric rows. The ELIYA Gap, where mountains frame distant coastal plains visible 90 kilometers away. And Little Adams Peak, a smaller cousin to the sacred mountain, offering sunrise vistas without the punishing climb. The climate sits perpetually spring-like. Cool mornings, warm afternoons, crisp evenings, making ELIYA the perfect escape from coastal heat. Homestays and small hotels occupy the hillsides, their terraces offering views across valleys where morning mist clings to the forests. The 9-arch bridge curves gracefully through the jungle near ELIYA, its 9 stone arches supporting railway tracks 50 meters above the ground, built entirely without steel during World War I when metal was reserved for the war effort. The bridge stretches 91 meters, its colonial-era engineering demonstrating how cement, stone, and brick could create structures that endure over a century later. Visitors gather in the surrounding tea plantations and on the bridge itself to photograph passing trains. The blue and cream carriages crawling across the viaduct, creating that perfect shot combining colonial architecture, tropical vegetation, and a still functioning railway. The best times are mid-morning and late afternoon when trains pass, and light catches the stonework at angles that emphasize the arch's curves. Locals have turned train spotting into an art form, knowing exact schedules and positioning visitors for optimal photographs. The bridge appears in countless Instagram posts, its photogenic combination of engineering and nature making it Sri Lanka's most photographed railway structure. PIDURANGALA rock rises opposite SIGIRIYA, offering the one view SIGIRIYA itself cannot provide. The lion rock framed by the jungle, its massive form rising from the green flatlands in a perspective that reveals the true audacity of building a fortress atop such a formation. The climb to PIDURANGALA's summit requires scrambling over boulders in the final section, pulling yourself up rock faces using embedded foot and handholds. But the route takes half the time of SIGIRIYA and attracts a fraction of the crowds. At the base, a cave temple houses a massive reclining Buddha, the white-painted statue resting in a natural rock shelter. Sunrise brings crowds despite the early start, climbers ascending by headlamp to reach the summit before dawn breaks. As light spreads across the central plains, SIGIRIYA's form emerges from darkness. First a silhouette, then details becoming visible as rays catch the rock's upper reaches. The view proves its worth the pre-dawn wake-up and scrambling climb. SIGIRIYA appearing simultaneously familiar from photographs, yet startlingly impressive when seen in context. SINHARAJA Forest Reserve protects Sri Lanka's last viable area of primary tropical rainforest, a UNESCO World Heritage Site where the wet zone evergreen forest creates cathedral-like spaces under canopies 50 meters high. This biodiversity hotspot harbors species found nowhere else on Earth. Purple-faced langurs swing through the branches, Sri Lankan blue magpies flash electric plumage, and endemic lizards skitter across forest floors carpeted in decomposing leaves. The trails wind through dense vegetation where buttress roots wider than humans support massive trees, where lianas thick as ship ropes dangle from the branches, and where the constant drip of moisture creates a percussive soundtrack. Leeches present the main challenge, dropping from vegetation or advancing across trails with blind determination, seeking blood meals from passing hikers. Guides lead treks ranging from 2 hours to full days, their trained eyes spotting wildlife invisible to visitors. Chameleons perfectly camouflaged against bark, birds motionless in shadow, snakes coiled in leaf litter. The forest exhales humidity that soaks clothing and fogs camera lenses within minutes. NUWARA ELIYA sits at 1,868 meters elevation, where British colonials created a hill station to escape coastal heat, building Tudor-style cottages, planting English gardens, establishing a golf course and naming it Little England, a slice of Britain, improbably transplanted into the tropical highlands. The town's colonial architecture survives in varying states of preservation. The Grand Hotel and Hill Club maintain Victorian elegance, serving high tea with scones and clotted cream, while the post office retains its red British pillar box. The surrounding valleys are carpeted in tea plantations where Tamil workers, descendants of indentured laborers brought from South India by British planters, still hand-pluck leaves following methods unchanged in a century. Tea factory tours demonstrate the transformation from green leaf to black tea, withering, rolling, oxidizing, drying, the facilities filling with the earthy aroma of processing leaves. The climate provides Sri Lanka's only genuinely cool weather, with temperatures occasionally dropping near freezing on January nights, prompting fireplaces and sweaters in a tropical country. RAVANA Falls plunges 25 meters down a rocky face near ELIYA, the waterfall named after the demon king from the Ramayana epic, who allegedly kidnapped Sita and hid her in the caves behind these falls. The cascade splits into multiple channels during the monsoon when water volume increases, reuniting at the base in a pool where visitors swim despite warnings about currents and depth. The falls visible from the main road have become a tourist stop for buses traveling between ELIYA and the south coast, their proximity to the highway making them Sri Lanka's most accessible major waterfall. During the dry season, the flow reduces to a trickle, the rocks around the falls revealing themselves as climbers navigate to the pool's edge. The surrounding forest echoes with bird calls and insect buzzing, while small shops at the roadside sell king coconuts and fresh pineapple to visitors pausing for photographs. Local legends multiply around the site, each guide offering slightly different versions of how Ravana used these caves, where Sita hid, and what magical properties the water supposedly possesses. Trincomalee on Sri Lanka's northeast coast remained largely isolated during the Civil War when Tamil tiger control made the region dangerous for tourism. But peace has revealed beaches and bays that rival anywhere in Asia. Upuveli and Nillaveli beaches stretch for kilometers, their golden sand meeting turquoise water in gentle waves, backed by coconut palms and small guest houses rather than the resort development overtaking the south coast. The natural harbor, one of the world's finest, attracted colonial powers for centuries. Portuguese, Dutch, and British all recognized Trinco's strategic value. Pigeon Island National Park offshore protects coral reefs where snorkeling reveals butterfly fish, parrotfish, angelfish, and occasionally reef sharks cruising the shallow waters. The island's resident pigeons nest in rocky outcrops, giving the park its name. The whale watching season from March to April brings blue whales, sperm whales, and spinner dolphins into the bay. The town itself retains authentic Sri Lankan character, its Hindu temples serving the predominantly Tamil population, with minimal tourist infrastructure preserving an atmosphere the South Coast lost decades ago. If you're amazed by Sri Lanka's hidden treasures from ancient fortresses to pristine beaches, smash that subscribe button on Passport Unfolded and hit the notification bell because we're only halfway through this island paradise. Every temple, waterfall, and wildlife sanctuary has stories that most travelers never discover. Like, comment, and share if you want to explore more untouched corners of the world with us. Did you know leopards in YALA National Park have the highest density anywhere on Earth? Stay tuned because the adventure is just getting started, and the next hidden gem is waiting just over the horizon. Keep exploring with Passport Unfolded, where we go beyond the guidebook to uncover the real soul of every destination. Comment below which destination surprised you most so far and which one you're adding to your bucket list right now. Mirissa's Crescent Beach on the south coast combines perfect golden sand, swaying palms, and gentle waves with proximity to deep ocean trenches where the world's largest animals gather seasonally. From November to April, blue whales, Earth's largest creatures ever to exist, cruise offshore in pods, their massive forms breaking the surface to breathe, occasionally raising flukes before diving deep. Whale-watching boats depart at dawn, captains navigating beyond the continental shelf where water deepens to over a kilometer, scanning for the telltale spouts that indicate whale presence. Blue whales reach 30 meters and 200 tons, their size impossible to comprehend until one surfaces meters from your boat, its barnacle-encrusted skin glistening as water cascades off its back. Sperm whales, smaller but still massive, dive deeper, their vertical flukes marking descent angles. Spinner dolphins by the hundreds escort boats, leaping and spinning in displays of aquatic acrobatics. The beach itself attracts surfers and beach loungers, its laid-back atmosphere creating a scene of hammocks, beach bars, and sunset watching that defines tropical paradise clichés for good reason. UDAWALAWE National Park protects dry zone habitat surrounding a massive reservoir, the grasslands and scrub forest providing ideal elephant habitat where herds of 50 or more gather at watering holes visible from safari jeeps. Unlike forested parks where elephants remain hidden in dense vegetation, UDAWALAWE's open terrain practically guarantees sightings. Families with tiny calves, bachelor groups of young males, solitary bulls and musth, all crossing the plains in their eternal search for food and water. The elephants consume up to 150 kilograms of vegetation daily, their feeding evident in torn branches and trampled grass. The reservoir attracts water birds, painted storks, Asian openbills, pelicans, while monitor lizards sun themselves on the banks and crocodiles lurk in the shallows. The elephant transit home near the park cares for orphaned calves, feeding them from giant bottles before eventual release into the wild. Safari jeeps navigate dirt tracks through the park, drivers positioning vehicles for optimal photography while maintaining safe distances from animals that, despite appearing docile, are wild and potentially dangerous when surprised or protecting young. YALA National Park's dry zone forests and coastal grasslands harbor the world's highest density of leopards. These magnificent cats, thriving in conditions where prey abundance and habitat suitability create perfect predator territory. Unlike African leopards or Indian leopards that remain largely nocturnal and secretive, YALA's leopards frequently appear in daylight, lounging on rocks, walking across roads, even climbing trees in full view of safari jeeps. The concentration averaging 1 leopard per square kilometer makes sightings probable rather than merely possible. Though the cat's camouflage means spotting requires trained eyes, scanning trees and rocks for the telltale spots. Block 1, the park's most visited section, sees traffic jams when leopards appear, jeeps jockeying for position while guides radio locations to colleagues. Beyond leopards, YALA protects sloth bears, elephants, crocodiles basking on reservoir banks, and abundant bird life, including peacocks displaying their fantails in courtship rituals. The landscape varies from dense jungle to open plains, from rocky outcrops to beaches where waves crash against the protected shoreline, creating diverse habitat attracting diverse wildlife. GALLE Fort, a UNESCO World Heritage Site on the southwest coast, represents Sri Lanka's colonial layers. Portuguese fortifications from 1588, expanded by the Dutch after 1640, then refined by the British who recognized the harbor's commercial value. The fort's massive walls, bastions, and ramparts enclose a living city where Sri Lankan families inhabit colonial buildings. Boutique hotels occupy restored merchants' houses, galleries display contemporary art in centuries-old structures, and cafes serve flat whites in courtyards with original Dutch tiles. Walking the fort walls at sunset has become a ritual. Locals and tourists, promenading on ramparts built to withstand cannon fire, now serving as elevated walking paths offering views across the Indian Ocean, where waves crash against rocks, fishermen perch on stilts in shallow water, and container ships pass on distant horizons. The fort survived the 2004 tsunami when waves breached the walls, flooding the streets, but the fortifications prevented complete destruction. The Dutch Reformed Church, Buddhist temples, mosques, and Hindu kovils coexist within the walls, reflecting Sri Lanka's religious diversity. BENTOTA on the southwest coast straddles where the BENTOTA River meets the Indian Ocean, creating a destination combining ocean beaches with river activities and water sports ranging from jet skiing to wakeboarding. The beach stretches for kilometers, backed by luxury resorts and smaller guest houses, its golden sand and gentle waves attracting families and couples seeking classic tropical beach vacations. The river meandering through mangrove forests offers kayaking and boat safaris where monitor lizards sun themselves on the banks, kingfishers dive for fish, and crocodiles lurk in the murky water. Brief Garden, the creation of landscape architect Bevis Bawa, transforms 5 acres into artistic vision with sculptures emerging from the jungle, hidden pathways revealing garden rooms and tropical plants arranged with artistic precision. His brother Jeffrey Bawa, Sri Lanka's most famous architect, built his weekend retreat Lunuganga nearby, the gardens and buildings demonstrating principles of tropical modernism, where architecture and landscape blur into integrated wholes. Water sports centers offer equipment, rental, and instruction. The consistent coastal winds creating ideal conditions for kite surfing, while the protected river provides calm water for beginners learning to paddleboard. Kandy nestles in the central highlands surrounding a man-made lake. This UNESCO World Heritage City having served as the last capital of independent Sinhalese kingdoms before British conquest in 1815. The Temple of the Tooth houses Sri Lanka's most sacred Buddhist relic, a tooth of Buddha brought to Sri Lanka in the 4th century, housed in a gold casket within nested caskets of diminishing size, displayed to public view only on special occasions, but drawing pilgrims daily who leave lotus blossoms and light oil lamps in acts of devotion. The temple complex occupies the lakeside grounds where devotees circle the main shrine in a clockwise direction, the air thick with incense smoke and the sound of drums and chanting from evening puja ceremonies. The Isala Perahera festival in July-August becomes Sri Lanka's grandest celebration. 10 nights of parades featuring dozens of decorated elephants, dancers, drummers, and fire performers. The sacred tooth casket carried on the lead elephant's back through streets lined with hundreds of thousands of spectators. Colonial buildings survive in the city center, their architecture reflecting British administration, while the market sells produce, spices, and crafts in organized chaos. DAMBULLA Cave Temple, a UNESCO World Heritage Site in central Sri Lanka, transforms a massive granite outcrop into a sacred Buddhist complex, where 5 caves house 157 statues and cover 2,100 square meters of walls and ceilings with murals. The caves, inhabited by Buddhist monks since the 1st century BCE, contain Sri Lanka's largest collection of Buddha images, some carved from rock, others fashioned from brick and plaster, ranging from tiny figurines to a 15-meter reclining Buddha, occupying an entire cave. The murals depict Jataka tales, stories of Buddha's previous lives, in vibrant colors that survived centuries through repainting during successive dynasties. The climb to the caves ascends stairs where monkeys beg for food from visitors, the path eventually reaching the cave entrance level where shoes must be removed before entering the sacred spaces. Cave 1 contains a 14-meter reclining Buddha carved from solid rock. The figure's serene expression unchanged as pilgrims have circled it for over 2 millennia. The Golden Temple at the base, a modern addition, houses a museum and features a giant golden Buddha statue visible for kilometers, its contemporary style contrasting with the ancient caves above. Polonnaruwa served as Sri Lanka's capital from the 11th to 13th centuries after invaders from South India destroyed ANURADHAPURA, the ruins today forming a UNESCO World Heritage Site, demonstrating medieval Sinhalese civilization at its architectural peak. The city's layout reveals urban planning sophistication: royal palace complex, administrative buildings, religious structures, all arranged along cardinal directions with water management systems supplying elaborate gardens. The GALLE Vihara complex features 4 Buddha statues carved from a single granite wall, a 7-meter seated Buddha in meditation pose, a smaller seated Buddha within a cave, a standing Buddha with arms crossed in an unusual pose, and a 14-meter reclining Buddha entering final nirvana. The carving precision and artistic grace make GALLE Vihara Polonnaruwa's highlight, each statue displaying subtle details in fabric folds, hand positions, and facial expressions. The Parakrama Samudra, a massive reservoir built by King Parakramabahu, still irrigates the surrounding farmland after 8 centuries. Ruins of multi-story palace buildings, audience halls with carved pillars, and monastic complexes reveal the capital's former grandeur before political instability forced abandonment. Anuradhapura, Sri Lanka's first capital founded in the 4th century BCE, remained the island's political and religious center for over 1,000 years. The ruins today forming a UNESCO World Heritage Site, where massive dagobas rise above the plains, and the Sri Maha Bodhi tree grows from a cutting of the original Bodhi tree under which Buddha attained enlightenment, making it the world's oldest recorded tree with a known planting date of 288 BCE. The tree draws Buddhist pilgrims who circle the sacred fig with hands pressed in prayer, leaving offerings of flowers while monks chant sutras in its shade. The Ruwanwelisaya Dagoba rises 55 meters, its white-painted dome dominating the skyline, built in the 2nd century BCE to house Buddhist relics. Restored multiple times but maintaining original proportions. The Jetavanarama Dagoba, at 70 meters, was the world's 3rd tallest structure when built in the 3rd century CE, requiring 93 million bricks. Moonstone carvings at building entrances demonstrate artistic sophistication. Semicircular stones carved with concentric bands depicting animals, plants, and flames symbolizing life cycle. Sacred tanks, Tisa Wewa, Basawakulama, still hold water supplying the ancient city through systems demonstrating hydraulic engineering mastery. PINNAWALA, Elephant Orphanage, established in 1975, cares for orphaned and injured elephants found in the wild. The facility growing from 7 original residents to over 80 elephants ranging from newborns to elderly adults. Twice daily, the herd walks from the orphanage to the Maoya River for bathing, the elephants parading through town as traffic stops, tourists photograph, and residents go about daily business, barely noticing the procession that has occurred twice daily for decades. At the river, elephants submerge in the cooling water, spray themselves and each other, roll in the shallows, and emerge dripping for the return walk. The orphanage generates controversy among animal welfare advocates who question the breeding program, producing more captive elephants and the facility's commercial focus, allowing paying visitors to bottle feed calves and watch the herd. Nevertheless, PINNAWALA provided refuge for elephants that would have died in the wild. Calves separated from herds, adults injured by human-wildlife conflict, animals too habituated to humans for wilderness release. The herd's social structure mimics wild populations with matriarchs leading, calves protected within the group, and complex interactions demonstrating elephant intelligence and emotional capacity. Colombo, Sri Lanka's commercial capital and largest city, sprawls along the west coast where British colonials established their administrative center. The city today mixing colonial architecture with modern development, creating an urban landscape of contradictions. GALLE Face Green stretches along the oceanfront, a colonial-era promenade where Sri Lankan families fly kites, vendors sell street food from carts, and sunset brings crowds to watch the sun sink into the Indian Ocean. The Peta district operates as Colombo's traditional market area, its narrow streets packed with shops selling everything from electronics to spices, from textiles to gold jewelry, the commercial chaos creating sensory overload of sounds, smells, and colors. Colonial buildings survive in varying states: the Old Parliament, Cinnamon Gardens mansions, the Dutch hospital converted to upscale shopping, their architecture telling stories of Portuguese, Dutch, and British occupation. The Gangaramaya temple combines Buddhist tradition with eclectic collections: Buddha statues, vintage cars, gifts from foreign dignitaries, creating a temple-museum hybrid. Modern Colombo rises in Colombo Fort and along GALLE Road, where high-rises, house offices, hotels, and apartments, their glass and steel forms representing the island's economic ambitions. If you've journeyed through 20 Sri Lankan destinations spanning from ancient rock fortresses to whale-watching waters, you're clearly someone who recognizes that this island contains extraordinary diversity, compressed into a space you can cross in hours, yet spend months exploring. You're the traveler who understands that Sri Lanka preserved its soul through centuries of colonial occupation and decades of civil war, emerging with cultural treasures and natural wonders intact. So smash that subscribe button on Passport Unfolded, absolutely demolish that notification bell, and drop a comment telling us which Sri Lankan destination captured your imagination or which one demands your immediate booking. Share this with anyone planning their first visit to South Asia because Sri Lanka offers everything: beaches, mountains, wildlife, culture, history, without the overwhelming crowds. Until next time, keep exploring with Passport Unfolded, where ancient kingdoms left architectural marvels, or where elephants roam freely, where tea plantations carpet mountains, and where an island the size of West Virginia contains wonders to fill a lifetime of travel.